Hello everyone. Welcome to another J Robinson Art Peiloff painting project. We're going to be painting an aloe to add to our botanical collection. Now this aloe won't have the floral stem in it, but it will have the leaves that you would normally kind of cut off to heal wounds. We're not getting into any of that. We're just going to be painting for our botanical collection. And let's just get started with the equipment that I have laid out so we can get right into the painting process. At Peel Off, when you buy a Peel Off painting kit, you get a set of nice brushes that allow you to have a variety of different brushes to work with. We provide you with a plastic apron to help protect your clothing. We also give you one paper towel, but you could always add more to that. We provide you with a plastic spatula to help you remove the peels. And we also give you all the colors that you'll need for the project, as well as a canvas. Normally the peel is affixed, but in this particular project, you'll have to affix that after you paint the background. The colors that we'll be working with today is primary yellow and a chrome yellow. Two different yellows that have two different values, and we're going to be splashing them around to help with our background. Then you also have black, green, and white. So, off camera, I have a cup of water. And I've already painted some this morning, so excuse me, but here's my palette of color. And as you can see, it's in kind of a clock formation, my white. But I want you to pay special attention to the two yellows. As you can see, they each have a different value. You got your primary yellow and your chrome yellow, which mixes very well, but this one pretty much can stand on top of color a little bit better. And then we have the black. And then I have my trusty beat up brushes. Some of them are actually a little broken, but again, I don't throw away anything. I make use of all my equipment, and these have been my good friends, and they've been around for a while. And I have, trust me, a variety of brand new waiting to be used brushes, but I like my old friends. So let's take a look at what we have here today. In your kit, you'll be getting a peel that you can actually purchase separately. We sell these already cut for you, and you can place them on a variety of different things. We're going to be using it on a canvas today. When you buy it, you'll be getting this color. For the project, I'm going to be using this, and I'll show you why later, so it helps stands up against the background. And we'll be applying that afterwards. So take a look at the last one that I did. This is the last one that I did recently, which is the palm leaves. And we're going to be pretty much working the same way because, as a lot of you may or may not know, I'm actually not only just painting these for art projects, but I'm actually using them in my home. I'm painting them to decorate my living room. My wife would like to change the images that we currently have, and she wants to go more botanical to kind of accent her plants. So we came up with this idea for these type of botanicals, and I'm going to paint them, and you're going to get a chance to see that being done. So we start with this white canvas, which you will get in your kit. And I'm going to take my flat brush, this 5/16 brush for background painting, and I'm just going to start splashing around some yellow. Now these are random placements. This is the primary yellow that I'm using right now at this point. And I'm just going to kind of spot that everywhere. Okay, then I'll come in with the chrome yellow. See, I didn't even clean my brush because it's okay. Yellow's yellow. And I'm just going to kind of put that in various different places. And what I'm going to be trying to create here is a hodgepodge of color. Now with the brush, with it already dirty with yellow, I'm going to pick up some green. And I'm going to just start splashing that around. And of course you can see some of it is dark. Some of it is light, but that's the point. I'm not really looking to paint right now. Right now, I'm just looking to set up a background. And what I want in that background is just a lot of random coloration. So while I don't want to literally paint over all of my yellow, some of it will, it has no choice. But I'm just going to try to block in the entire background. And then I'm going to come in and place my peel, and then we'll begin to paint. Now, the thing that's going to happen, just so you know and prepared, there'll be 2 stoppages of the video. Normally, I like to shoot all of my videos in real time, straight through, no pauses. I don't do any doctoring off the camera. So I'm just going to let the paint dry because I don't want you to have to sit around and watch that for 5-minute intervals, which would be 2 of them. So that would be 10 minutes of what I would call dead time. And there's no point in the video having those 10 minutes unnecessarily. So I want you to be able to relax while we let Alexa clock us out and bring us back, and then we'll pick up right from there. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. So now I'm just going to continue to dab into a little yellow, a little green. And now I'm just blocking in some of the whiter areas. Basically, again, I'm just trying to be random. There's no plan to this. I don't have this planned out. I'm kind of just allowing the colors to blend as they do as I block in the areas. And then soon I'll be scrubbing to get rid of the divots or those little cracky open spaces. But I'm pretty much just looking to kind of just block in everything. So now I'm just going to go with green and just start pulling all of this together. I don't want to waste a lot of time on this. This is just random setup. I don't want to get rid of all of my yellows, so I'm going to try to leave some and just scrub in color to just block in areas as we go along. See? So this is what I'm after. And then where I have to, I'll just add some splotches of yellow because I don't want to get rid of all of it. I want it to be random, but I do want some colors to live. That's just my term, meaning that they're not completely taken out. When I say let it live or let it breathe, it's just you place it and you go. You don't try to scrub it out or tap it out or rub it out completely. Okay, this is getting blocked in quite nicely. Now I'm just going to concentrate on smoothing out some of these areas to cover some of these divots, those open white little cracked spaces there that's peeking through. I may not catch every single last one, but I definitely want to catch as many as I can, so in the next phase I don't have to focus on those as much. So now I'm just gonna just kind of slightly blend, rubbing, scrubbing color around. Still have some big areas to just blot in. We try to use some yellow in places to kind of bring some of that back. So as you can see, there's a lot of little yellow pockets. There's some light green pockets. And the dark green, well, we're going to be adding that more directly as we're painting our, in this case, aloe leaves, or botanical. Let's call it a botanical. Let's just keep that name. And so now, I'm not getting quiet. I'm just trying to look to see where I can focus my attention and energy and colors to block in some of this stuff here. Now, this is something that once I place my peel and take it off, some of you are going to be satisfied with that and go, oh, I like that. And that's fine. I'm going to go into more detail on each of my aloe leaves so that I can add my own personal little touches and values to the painting for mine to be complete, for my completion of the painting. Okay, I'm almost there. Stay with me. This video may seem long because I'm going to be talking a lot and showing you how I handle things, but the purpose of this is so that you can purchase your own kit and then have fun creating your own artistic journey. There, that looks good enough for me. So what we're going to do now is clean off our equipment. And if I could strongly suggest, when you're working, no matter what, always clean off your equipment. You don't ever leave your brushes like resting in a cup. You know, clean it off. I like to just wipe the color on a paper towel. I'll give a much thorough cleaning after I'm finished. But while I'm working, I like to just have my equipment clean so I can come back to it. So I'm going to leave that like that so you can see when I do come back, everything will be exactly like this. No camera shakes, so that you know that we're not doing anything except leaving it just as it is. Alexa, could you alarm me in 5 minutes, please?
5 minutes, starting now.
Okay, everyone, I'll be right back. Okay, everyone, welcome back. As you can hear, Alexa's beeping off those 5 minutes. Alexa, stop. Thank you. Now, you don't have to have an Alexa, of course. You could always use a timer or your own watch, or just, kind of generally come back and forth and see if the canvas is dry. So let me move. Alexa, stop.
Sorry,
Thank
I don't
you.
know
Alexa, stop. So basically what we're talking about right now is checking to see if the canvas is dry. Now you don't want to touch with the front of your hand. You want to go with the back of your hand. And what you're feeling for is a coolness. And of course, if any paint comes off, then you know that you still got some ways to go. But I think this will be fine. Even though a little came off, I think this will be fine. And you also want to check to see if there's a glossiness to the paint, which would mean that it's still wet. Now I see a lot of divots here, but we'll paint over a lot of that. Now what we're about to do, just to show you from the actual one that you'll be getting, we're going to be placing this on our canvas. So I'm going to be taking my white one, and I'm going to keep this near me. I'm just going to peel this off. Remember, it's paint and peel. And using the edges, I'm going to go mostly to my bottom and right. And I'm going to try to place this so that I have it exactly like I want it. Now I'm going to have this flush, as flush as I can get it. And the cool thing about a peel off is, until you really affix it down, you can easily remove it and replace it. I'm just showing you that it was really good, but I'm just showing you that you could remove it and repeel it. Okay, another cool feature about peel off. And what I'm going to do is, after I paint my background and we go for that 5 minutes dry time, and I come back and take this off, I'm going to put it back on this sheet to save it for later. Who knows, I might want to do something else. So, okay, so now I'm going to rub with my hands because I really want to make sure that there aren't any air pockets or any lifts for color to go underneath unnecessarily. And if you happen to be like me, kind of like that artsy guy that has all kinds of cool tools and things, you might happen to have one of these briars. Because I'm going to take that and just roll it right on the canvas to help affix this even more. Just like that. Get rid of all the air bubbles that I can. And now I'm ready. And all I'm going to do at this point is taking my flat brush, which is a different one, and I'm going to go right into black. And I'm just going to simply paint my background now. Now I'm going to paint over what I painted. Now let's talk about this as I go. This is my choice. This is how I want my background to be. Let's say you had a different color pattern in your home and you wanted to kind of match up with that a little bit or be complementary to that. Your choice. But you don't want black. Let's say you want white. Now you could just take the white and paint over the canvas. You're probably going to have to do that a few times because white is opaque, but it has a somewhat transparency to it. So you may end up seeing some of the green through the white and having you to let it dry. I highly recommend that. And then paint it again, maybe a couple of times, so that you get the color that you want. Now, let's say you wanted to make a blue, a light blue, a dark blue, a gray. I would go through the same process. It's procedures. It's a process. And I'm recommending this for a reason. You paint it black no matter, then you paint it white. Then you paint it whatever color you want on top of the white so it pops. I just happen to want black for our decorative reasons. So the easiest thing for me and for this video is to just simply block back out along the peel using my peel off technique. paint and peel to block out that pattern that I made, and then just peel it in a few moments, give it 5 minutes, and then begin the process of detailing my aloe leaves, my aloe leaf botanical. So now I'm just very carefully making sure I get to the edges, making sure, see, I'm not using a lot of thick, heavy impasto of paint. I'm just stroking it on and moving along area by area to ensure that I get nice coverage. Every now and then I'll dip back into some more color and then just finish it off. And then I'll take a quick look before we go back into our last stoppage of 5 minutes. Alexa ain't coming back. And then we're going to go into town on this baby. So you'll see what I mean in a few minutes when we peel this off. So now I'm just making sure there's no thick paint because I want it to dry rather quickly. So I'm very lightly, filling in my background. Like you see those little divots up there. I'm going to take some color and cover those. I don't want any of that popping through. Now I could fix that in the painting, but I don't want to. I just want to paint the aloe leaves and call this painting a day. So here I'm just removing paint, smoothing the areas out, making sure my divots are covered. There, it's good enough. So now I'm going to clean off my equipment. Yeah, the water gets murky. That's okay too. You could always, in between this, come in with some more color, but I'm not, because remember I told you I don't want to make it seem like anything else is going on. So I'm going to do that, put this here again, and I'm going to say, Alexa, could you alarm me in 5 minutes, please?
5 minutes, starting now.
And I'll be right back. All right, everyone, I'm back. Alexa, stop. Thank you. Basically now what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to just quickly take a look. It looks pretty good. Here's some shiny spots that are definitely still wet. But all in all, we can start painting here. This is fine because we're going to be painting more on the aloe than the background. So we're really okay. I'm going to take my spatula, find me a spot, dig in. I'm going to peel up my peel to reveal my aloe. See, there's my aloe. Let me get back my sheet. And I'm just going to lay this here. And I'm going to let that dry. And see, I can reuse that later. All right. So now the fun begins. Now this is where we detail. Some of you, like I said, could leave it like this. Maybe you painted a background purposely to just have that look, shape, and you created your background, blah, blah, blah. I'm going for the actual plant. Now, let me just say this. I'm taking a lot of artistic license. An aloe plant does not normally have this much yellow to it, but I'm trying to match the pattern of botanicals for a set for my home. So I wanted it to look pretty much the same in pattern as the others. But let's get down to work. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab me another flat brush, but this one is a number 12, okay? And I'm going to start using this to introduce some dark values to start breaking down the individual leaves, if you will, okay? Because some things are curled and overlapping, some things are over and in the back. So I'm going to start trying to separate these different plant leaves before I go into actually detailing them. So let's just pick up some dark green. Maybe I'll add a little yellow to it just in case. All right, just to get me started. I'm just starting out. So I don't know I don't know where I'm going to start. This is really an interesting one because I can start anywhere. So I'm maybe going to start from here and maybe work my way around. But then again, I could jump. So let me just start here and let's see where we are. So the first thing I want to do is say, there's a leaf right here. So I'm going to add a little color. And I'm going to be working very slow. And this is why the video may go an hour. Not because I'll be running my mouth, but because I really want to focus on the individual design elements. So here, let's start with a little tap of dark color right there. Because I want to say that this leaf kind of comes in the front of a leaf. So I'm going to purposely take this and just drag this down like so to start the separation between the two of them. Now the funny thing is there'll be another dark that'll come up here, but I'm going to leave that for now and I'm going to separate this one. Now this is a very fat area, but I'm going to say that there are two leaves here. So I'm going to go here to say, okay, this is the back of this leaf. And I'm going to bring a dark line down all the way, excuse me, to cut off this one to separate those two. So now this is one, this is another, and I'm going to kind of play in this a little bit because I really want to kind of emphasize where this is. So I'm going to say it goes like this. And then I'm going to take a step back and say, okay, that separates that good enough. And then I'll come in and work on this a little bit more in a moment. So now let's go here. Now we have two. This one I want to have maybe in front of this one. So I'm going to take the dark and I'm going to purposely come in here and stop right there. Because remember, this is a leaf, this is a leaf, this is a leaf, this is another leaf, and this is another one. So I want to angle now here to say here is where this one rests like that. Now, no, right now that doesn't make any sense. But remember, this one is going to come down and maybe be inside. So let's play. Now we gotta play like a kind of an artistic math game where I'm looking at things and I'm saying, okay, this is fine. I'm gonna stop here. Let's separate this one and this one where this one slightly overlaps here. So maybe I'll take a little dark just to kind of start it and come up at the tip here. I'm going to ride it along the edge and say that this leaf stops here. Because now it's going to go behind this leaf. So I'm going to leave a little bit and come here with that and start that separation. I know, right? Confusing, isn't it? And then now I'm going to pick up from here and maybe come across, stop, bring this down, stop, and let that V out where the shadow is down in here a little bit. Okay? So now this one is going to continue to come across, but I'm trying to slowly make it so you can see where all the overlaps are. We'll connect all of the dots in a little bit. So now we're going to play with this one and play the same way to say that this leaf is going to push everything else back. So let me just come over here, bring this a little wide, take a step back and say, I like the way that's looking. We're going to continue bringing this down like so. And we're going to say that it comes all the way down to here. So now we've definitely defined this one, this one, this one. Push this one back, push that one back. This is what we're going to call our center, where it's going to come down and maybe stop about here. So now we push these back. So let's bring those. Let's bring a little one here like we did here for this one. So for this one, we're going to curl it this way and stop. And then say maybe it goes here, stops. It'll make sense in a few. Just let me set it up there. So now we're going to pull this one longer down here. This one will curl in the back. This one will stand alone. This one will flop over. So you see, all I'm doing now is trying to create a pattern of design as to where everything is individually. So let's just go with this one now and say that this one kind of curls in. Maybe it comes down here. Stop. But we want to have this one come over. I know this seems confusing, but it's really not. That's why I'm doing it slowly and delicately. So let's pull this one, some color on it. Stop here. Okay, because that leaf runs there, and go underneath it here, leaving just a little highlight right there. So now we're making this one. Now let's do that one that's curled a little bit. But this one, we're just gonna curl it a little like that, and then go right to the top and say, how does this work? Now this is interesting. I got a lot of choices here. And I think I'm going to get even more creative than I initially was going to. So I'm going to take some green, and I'm going to start at the tip here to put a little bit inside. Let this come down and stop right there. Matter of fact, let's go a little further. Let's go here. Let's stop right there. Yeah, I got an idea here. Ooh, I think I'm gonna add some black in here and put a hole. I think I'm gonna put a hole in here. I think that's gonna be very nice. And then maybe from here, since we already have this going, let's widen this just a little bit. Just a little bit more like that. So now we're playing. Now we're having fun. Now we're having fun. Let me clean off my brush. I'm gonna put my hole. My hole is gonna be black. So I'm gonna take my little pointed brush, my little friend here, and put some black on it. And then I'm gonna draw a little shape that may be right here, because this is gonna be my hole. I wanna put a hole in the middle to show that this one actually overlaps because of this hole. So I'm going to paint my background on my plant now so that I could give it a hole, or to look that there's a space in between. I'll straighten the bottom out in a second. There. So now that leaf is defined. See? So now I've created where it overlaps here. Bring this corner down just a smidget. And then straighten it out. Taking my time. It's your plant. You can leave it. You could have made it several different pieces. I'm just choosing to create it to look as if this part comes here. That part overlaps behind it. We clean this off. Yeah, I like that look. That's a cool look. Now let's get back to decorations. So I'm using the dark green to help me out here. This is cool. And now let's continue to say that this one overlaps here. Put a little dark green here to just add a little shadow. It just kind of comes across. So now we're going to start building our shadows. So now I'm very happy with that start shape. I'm going to put some highlights back, put some pockets in, but now we can play. Now we can have a little fun. So now at least we know where we're going. So let's start creating. So let me start here and just bring some dark down. Let it run a little bit. Bring in a little yellow, little green. Start pulling in some different values of colors, though it fades from a really rich dark to a kind of a semi, so the color just starts to blend more here. so I can start showing the contours of this particular leaf. So I'm liking the way this is coming out. And so now we're just going to start building from here. Do the same thing with a little yellow, a little green. And let's just go in here and pull some value just to start adding value here and here on these sides. A little yellow just to smooth this out a little bit. We'll come back with the dark again, but I'm just now ready to start building on my plant now. Now I'm just going to start playing with values and start turning this into something a little bit more shapely. So let's go over here, add some of this dark, come over here, bring that dark again. See, now when I bring it, it's a little different. See, now it's a little different. Now it's starting to work with the yellows and stuff that I put in there to really give more of a definition and shape of the aloe on just that side. Just on the inside, I'm just going to work one side and just keep working that. Get rid of these divots. Get rid of this divot. See, I'm starting to smooth it out, but I'm starting to shape it at the same time. Let's go with some more dark here. And let's come right along this edge. Pull this in like that. Start setting that one inside. Like we said, it's back there. So now we're setting it. Now we're putting more color. We made our lines. Now we don't want them to be so hard. We're going to add yellow on top of some of those to give a few highlights. But right now we're just trying to build in that darkness as if it's behind something, so it looks that way. So by using what we did, we can now start to build. And I'm only working on one side, leaving like the light coming from here and the dark over here. So even though that's separate, let's separate all of this together. Just bring this in and darken this area here like so. You see how it's starting to build? You see how it's starting to look more independent? Like each of these is starting to take on their own kind of like octopus legs kind of a shape. Here we go. Just bringing some of this dark on the edges here, softening it as I go. Letting that stick right down in there like so. See, you see how it's starting to individualize? That's what we're after. And then we're going to add some other lines. But and I know it doesn't make sense and it seems kind of crazy, but if you're watching me more than listening to me, you'll see exactly what I'm doing by adding the dark in those little pockets of here where it would be shadowed out but overlapped. And I'm just using values. I'm just using a dark value very sparingly to tap, see, to kind of create that separation. And then let's just keep moving. We're going to keep rotating it all the way around. It's because eventually you're going to begin to see it take form. I mean, it's already doing that, but you're going to see it even more. Because there's like little pockets right in between. See how it's starting to snake out a little bit. It was flat before, but now it's starting to snake out a little bit. This one we're just going to come down, let it go right into the blackness. That's fine. We could always add a highlight to that later. This one's curling this way, so we'll leave that top. And maybe we'll come in here and just add a little something right in here to help bring this one more into play. See? More into that curve, that turn. And then we'll come along the top over here and just take some of this out. Then let that go. Like so, see? And then we'll go back under with a nice dark value to bring this into being, and then this one into being. See? So now what we've done is we've definitely defined several different shapes over here. And then of course there would be a shadow right along the top here where this one starts to separate and show itself more to itself. See? Like that. Let's go a little darker here. Right here. Let's just go a little bit darker right there. So you see how that now starts to bring the plant into itself. And this is really cool. I'm really liking this. So let's play more with the middle one now. This one is our centerpiece. This is really more important than all the rest of them because this one is where our eye kind of focus on. Now let's go to some of these tips because the cool thing is we want to darken some of these tips. We want to put some darkness on some of the tips to help bring us back down. We don't want the highlights all up in the top. So on the tips alone, I just want to start bringing in some darkness. See, just on the tips. Just right along the tops here, blending back, just so that the tips aren't light. You know, we can leave a couple of little pieces, maybe a little one here, just a little highlight right there. There you go. Maybe that little highlight can go. And then, of course, the one that's turning over here, we still have to bring in some shadow to separate those two and to separate back here. So let's do this for that. Let's do this for this one, like a little bit more like that. See? Whoa, this is really coming along. This is really coming along. I'm really liking this a lot. Now I'm gonna go to a little highlight color, a little green, a little yellow. And let's see if we can't add some more, like a little something here to soften this up a little bit. Just a little bit. And a little bit here. Just playing around now. Now I'm just tapping in colors to see exactly where I want to create more of a highlight look. Softening it up a little bit. I don't need all the yellows to pop so strong, but I'm going to leave some of them, but I'm just softly blending over a few just to kind of tone them down just a little bit. So I'm just kind of using a little bit of greenish yellow to soften them down. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now for this one right here, I think I want to put it like a believe it or not, like a little bit of a gully. So I'm gonna come here and see if I can't create the look as though this is open here. Right, like as if it's opening here, and then just kind of going around like that. Then I'll come in with some real dark. I'm gonna come in with a smaller brush in a second, but just want to try to highlight this as if, you know, it's kind of like open there. And let's do that on a few more places. Like I started it here. Let's finish it. Let's just rise something right down the middle here as if it kind of opens. Now I'm going to come back with a highlight that's going to ride back there to help this a little bit. So why don't we try that now? Let's go straight with the yellow. Come right on the tip and just add a little highlight color right there. You know, and maybe I'll back paint that. Maybe I could back paint that. Let's pick up our pointed brush, some black, and let's just back paint this. Let's just get rid of that. We don't need that. It was nice, but we don't need it anymore. Now we're just gonna ride up a little bit here and stop right about there. Then we're going to come with that highlight color again, just a yellow. And I'm just going to tap a little bit here. Smooth it out like so. And let that come right across the top. Okay, let me clean off this brush. Now let's see if we can make some more. We'll come back to that in a second. So now let's say that maybe in here, there's a little opening. Maybe that it comes here. There's a little opening. And then it kind of closes itself off. Like that. That looks good. That looks interesting. And now let's do another one. Let's say that we have, I don't know, a little something happening right here. Maybe there's a whole nother leaf right there. So by doing this, right, let's just do this and then do this. See, we can give the look like maybe there's another leaf that's straight up right here that's kind of bouncing off of this plant a little bit. So we'll come with a darkness right there just to kind of give that impression. Just like that. See, that impression gives it like maybe there's another leaf that's straight up right here that's right on top of that one. See, maybe that's the look to kind of give a whole new plant leaf right in that area. Let's put a little nice little dark here to bring that your eye right back down towards it. Let's go in the back here. Maybe open up a little gully right here. It looks like that. See? So now the plant's starting to take an in and out shape. So now on this side, it's not a gully, but it's just dark. It's just dark right here for just a bit. Maybe it's cast lighting. Maybe it's a little something right there, like that. See, just to give, see what I'm doing? I'm just playing now with values. I'm looking at the painting and I'm saying, okay, where do I need it darker? Where do I need more contrast? Where do I need something to help push your eye around a little bit easier? So let's go with that. You see, it's starting to get stronger now. So let's go down here and do the same. Let's pull in some darkness. That's just here. That kind of goes up a little bit. See, we starting to, and let's do the same thing down towards the edges down here. It's a little bit more darker, a little stronger. Values here, and then on the opposite side, a little stronger. Right over in here. Now, I know some of you say, well, why didn't you just do that first? Because you have to build slow. You have to take these step backs to see if, in fact, it's working for you. You go too strong. Sometimes fighting your way back is really a hard fight. So you don't want to go too deep, too strong in the beginning. You know, you don't want to start the game throwing 100-yard passes. You know, you want to run a little bit and throw short. You want to get the team used to one way, and then you come back and start throwing deep. Throw them completely off, and next thing you know, you got their full attention. So do I have your attention now? Do you see how we went from flat to a look? Do you see how we've gone from a flat pattern of color to petals that look like they're actually doing something? So that's why you go nice and slow, nice and easy, and just build, work your way up. Acrylic is a beautiful underpainting process. You can overpaint and overpaint acrylics. You know, let it dry and hit it again. It just gets richer, fuller, darker, stronger. You know, you can really start to bring this thing alive by just taking your time. And all I'm working with right now is green, just dark green. but I'm also leaving a lot of my highlights. As a matter of fact, speaking of a highlight, let me just take a little white, a little green, a little yellow, make a nice light color. And maybe I want to put a vein that comes down here. It's not bright enough, so let me go with a little bit more white, a little bit more yellow, a little bit more green. There you go. That looks like it might be about right. And then just drive that right down like that. There's a little vein there. And then I think there's another one that might even look nice. Kind of coming off on that side a little bit. See? And then maybe there's a nice highlight that's here. See, now I'm bringing in lines. I'm bringing in lighter lines because we have a lot of patterns and shapes. So now I'm just adding a few little highlights of lines of interest, just to kind of give the painting a little bit more to look at. Maybe there's something right here that just kind of glides, kind of rides around, goes off into there. I'm gonna soften some of these. Some of these I'm gonna soften, but right now I'm leaving them because I want them to help bring my painting to a finish. Maybe there's even a little light one that's kind of riding right there. See, I'm just using this, excuse me, to give me a look of something happening. Something, we don't know exactly what or why, but it doesn't matter. It's a painting. See, it just gives a little bit more. Now, going back into my dark, and now that I have that vein, just make sure I'm right. Let's go bring in some darkness on this side. Ride that up a little bit, like soften this down a little bit. Narrow this down, like so. Then kind of tap it to mute it a little bit. Still there, but it's just not as strong. But it's still there. And then maybe we can just bring this back to some darkness that comes out of that. Tap a little bit more just to soften it. Like I said, it's still there, but it's just not as strong now. Oh yeah, liking that a lot. Let's just do this. Now I'm about to take some green and a touch of black to kind of finish this off. Black's very strong, so I don't need a lot of black, but I want to add a even darker value of the green and black down in the base area, down where the painting is at its lowest form, down low here, down here, just to give your eye like a almost a blackness, although it's dark green and black together, and just kind of dance that around towards the base edges of the shadow, so that now you have a more of a pocketed inside view. Even here, see, maybe back here, just here, just little areas of that darker value to kind of give you that in and out effect, you know. And then let's clean off the brush. This painting is finished. Right now I'm just kind of playing around with values because I'm really liking this, but I want to make sure I'm happy with what I have. So I'm going to take some dark green now, and I think I want to elongate this a little bit more, like this. Like this. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to call this painting finished. It just had a little bit of a lighting issue. I'm not sure what just happened there. So I'm going to call my video complete. and tell you thank you so much for allowing me to come and paint with you and sharing this painting with you. And I hope that you reach out and allow J Robinson Art Peiloff to be a part of your painting sessions, where you purchase some of our kits at peiloff.com. That's Peiloff. And of course, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can be on par to get all of the latest videos that we have coming out, which we constantly making videos and constantly making new paintings. And you definitely want to be a part of that. And we do a lot of different things other than just canvases. We do tote bags, we do stretch canvases, we do wooden boxes, we do peel off pieces that you could actually buy and place them on a variety of different surfaces to be as creative as you want to be on furniture, on walls, cabinets, whatever. So please subscribe and please continue to enjoy, push around a few colors, and be creative. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.